Hey guys, today we're going to look at EE7, which is taking word problems and writing an equation from it. Now, I do have to say the way I like to write these equations is to solve them first, so I kind of have an idea of what I'm looking for. But now you can't just solve them and be done, because a lot of these say write an equation or write an equality, write an expression. So if it tells you to write an equation, it has to have an equal sign, and you're going to have to use inverse operations. And I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. It says Kayla is 13 years old. Her uncle is 22 years older than Kayla. How old is Kayla's uncle? And write an equation right here to show the uncle's age. Now, let's think about this. Let's think back to our fifth grade selves. How would we solve a problem like this? So Kayla's 13. Her uncle is 22 years older. So what we would do in fifth grade would be 13 plus 22. Okay? So what we're going to think of now is, instead of solving it using plus 22, we're going to solve it using, write it using minus 22. So we have the uncle minus 22 years is going to equal Kayla's 13 years. Now remember, this should make sense because in elementary school we would have said 13 plus 22 is the uncle. We're going to write an equation, which means we have to use inverse operations. So if we're going to write it using plus 22, if we're going to solve it using plus 22, we're going to write it using minus 22. So then we could check it by saying plus 22 on both sides. So U is going to equal 35. So the uncle is 35 years old. So if he's 35 and you subtract 22, you're going to get Kayla's 13 years. All right, so then let's talk about a surfer who is 14 inches shorter than his board. The surfboard is 82 inches tall. How tall is the surfer? So let's take a second and talk about that for a second. We don't know how tall the surfer is, but we do know that 14 inches more than his height is going to be 82. So what we could do is say, so if the board is 82 inches, we can subtract 14 inches to figure out how tall the surfer is. That's what I would have done in fifth grade. But in sixth grade, we are told to write an equation to show that. So if we're going to be subtracting 14 from 82, we're going to write it as the surfer's height plus 14 equals 82. All that means is we're going to solve it using inverse operations, which is exactly what you would have done in fifth grade to solve this word problem. You would have said minus 14. That's all we're doing, except when you write an equation, you have to use inverse. So that's going to give us H equals 68 inches. So the surfer is 68 inches. The board is 84 inches, which is 14 inches more than the surfer. So just make sure that you're reading these carefully. And if you're going to solve it using addition, you're going to write a subtraction equation. If you're going to solve it using subtraction, you're going to write an addition equation.